Morning. Good morning. Good. Seated. We're glad to have you all here with us today. Today's a bright new day, a day to look forward into the future, to hear from each one of you as we design this community as a place where God can dwell, where we really create this Father's dwelling place. Actually, this last song was such a beautiful song to remind us of vision and remind us of where we are heading. And this place where the blessing that had to be reserved will be freely given, right? That's the time we're living in now, where we're moving forward with our true parents to share the blessing with many people, to expand God's family, and to share the joy that each one of us has with more and more people. And it's exciting to be a part of that, to be a part of what God is doing, and to be a part of all of your lives here. And to me, it's been such an honor. Today, I wanted to share a few things before we started, that we do have a few big things coming up nationally. We have coming up in Las Vegas is A Peace Starts With Me. June 22nd will be that event, so it's something to pray about, to support. Also in October, there's an event in Chicago, and then our region is supporting the final tour stop, the final portion of this rally of Peace Starts With Me in our nation's capital, right, in D.C., and that's November 16th. And so we want you to just have that in your hearts and in your minds, to pray for a good atmosphere, that many people can work together. And through this tour, many different people have been coming together, people of different faiths, to proclaim, we want to create peace, and we want to do it now. We want to tear down the barriers and work together. And today also falls, Miss Mercy reminded me, on a day of national prayer for the president, that God can work through him, can open his heart and mind to do the things that should be done, and that he can have our support as a nation. So just a time to really think about our country, where it's heading, and what role we might play in that. And we feel like we're just little people here in Mobile, Alabama, but our hearts and our prayers really make an environment where God can work. And so it's important, right, brothers and sisters, that we work together and support one another. So today I just wanted to start, we're going to have our community meeting today, but I wanted to start by reminding us of what the vision is of our local church, of our national church, and how each one of us plays a part in creating that vision of creating God's hope for our community and for the larger nation. So each one of you is part of this. So the Family Fed mission statement, Family Federation, is to guide America back to God through the teachings and marriage blessing of true parents. So as a nation, right, where our hope is to bring all people back into a relationship with God, to help them see the value of their marriages, to see the value of their families, and to understand God's principles so that they can guide their lives. So each small community is contributing to this larger vision. How can we express God's love, God's truth to our neighbors, to our community, and help them come back into relationship with God? And this is really important for all of us to remember. This is the heart of what we're doing here. It's to bring people back to God, bring that relationship, open people's eyes to God, who is right there in front of us every day, but we don't always notice. And so we, as Family Fed members, are that example, that vision, that eye-opener to say, this is what God's love looks like, feels like, and we invite you to be a part of that. So I just wanted to share this short video.
We all have an original mind that yearns for beauty, truth, and happiness. We want to be good people, able to raise beautiful families where all relationships of true love can blossom. Strong families are the building block of a healthy community, where each person can work together to create a peaceful and prosperous world. We are the Family Federation. Join us for world peace and unification.
It sounds so simple, right? but it's really so beautiful too. This is something that I think really comforts God's heart, that people are looking to create healthy individuals, healthy families, and a respect for the environment and the community around us. And we're inviting people to join us, to join as a family for world peace and unification, to create that kind of environment. So this is what our movement is all about. This is what our churches try to aspire towards and try to help people guided towards. Also on the website of Family Federation, it says this: with God as our heavenly parent, we all share the same equal and divine value. We seek to equip individuals with the knowledge needed to develop a personal relationship with God and each other based on that premise. So we are God's children. This is God's family. We are all children of God. Just as that last song was saying, we're in God's dwelling place, but we want to return as God's children and respect one another as such and help people understand the innate value of each individual, of our own lives and of the lives of the people around us. As our parent, God longs for us to experience a full range of relationships in our lives. It is through the experience of love as children to our parents, as brothers and sisters, as husbands and wives, and as parents to our children that we inherit God's heart as our own and are then able to embrace the world with God's love and create one family under God. So as we experience a relationship between our brothers and sisters here, as we take time to develop our own relationship with God as our parent, as we love our spouses and invest in that relationship, and then as we finally invest that love into our children, we understand who God is, what God's heart is. This unchanging love, this love that wants to reach out to the world. And we inherit that love, so it's not just about our family anymore, but God's family. We see ourselves in that same role. We are striving to inherit God's heart, which is huge. It's unthinkable before now to think we can inherit God's heart, have that kind of love. You know, beyond just our neighbors, beyond just our nationalities, beyond our race, we can love all people as God loves them. This is what we're striving to do within our movement. And here in our local community, this is the vision statement that really drew me and Lena here. When we read this, we felt, wow, this community really has a good understanding of what our role is. It's to build an expanding community of families who bring joy to God, right? To bring joy to God by practicing true love and to move their hearts and to move the hearts of others, right? So we are here to create our own families, but an expanding family as well. We're here to love our own children and our own spouse, but also to expand that love, right? As the second blessing teaches us, it's build that family so that it expands into our community, into our neighborhoods, and that all people can see who God is, and God is our parent. And hopefully, through us practicing true love, we can inspire other people to do the same. Whether they're of our faith or a different faith, we want to inspire people to think about brothers and sisters in humanity. This is our goal. This is our aim as a community. Every time we speak here on Sunday, every song we sing, every time we meet someone and we give the blessing, every time we do a service project, this is the heart of it. To move people's hearts, to open their eyes to their unique value and the value of all people. Now, we've gathered here in this room and we take it for granted, but we've got all different races in this room. We've got people from different cultures, different religious backgrounds. And this is normal to us. I grew up in this kind of world, right? Where, oh, you know, I've got Japanese aunties and I've got African uncles. And, you know, this was normal to me, but most of the world sees themselves in their individual groups. But this is revolutionary, and we want to share this with this world, to share this concept of loving one another in such a way. So how we achieve this, right, is we go back to the three blessings. And our focus here in our community is focused on the three blessings. You know, that we need to recognize our role as God's children, as the restored Adam and Eve, as God's first people, that we inherit this blessing that God gave his first people. And then, he didn't just give it to Adam and Eve. When Noah landed on land, God gave that blessing to him as well. And when the Israelites came into the promised land, God gives them this blessing too. This is, every time God wants to start something new, he wants to start the new precedence of how we should live our life. He tells us to focus on these things, to be fruitful, to multiply, and to have dominion over all creation. This is our inheritance, this is our birthright, but it's also our mission. We have to grow into this. It doesn't naturally come about. We have to develop these things. So we call it live, love, and give. Make it very simple. And anybody that comes in here understands this is what we're about. We're about living, which is growing on our relationship with God, developing that relationship with God through our time here in Sunday service, worshiping, through our individual prayer life, through your own offering tables at home, your pledge service, your study, or hundoke, as we call it. These are ways that we grow our spirit. We live. Many people exist, but we want to really live. And we do that through connecting with God as our parent in our individual lives. So we want to encourage that and develop that in our community. We want to love creating families, right? The love of God being so little if we can't share it with another person, if we don't perfect our love by giving it to another person. And so we invest in our relationships, we develop our marriages, we develop our ability to love our children, which is no easy feat, right? It can be challenging at times. We might speak a high ideal, but it's hard to live that out. So we need to remind ourselves, right, in our relationship with God, how to love our children. And then to go even further, to love someone else's children, to love someone else's family, which is really a challenge. I realize it's very easy for me to forgive my kids and to say, oh, my kids are kids, oh, it's okay. And then I see another kid and I go, hey, get that toy back, How can I develop a heart towards other people's kids, towards other marriages that don't look like mine? So we need to work on this. This is an effort. God called us and gave us this blessing, but we also have to take responsibility. And so we want to educate people. We're doing the Energized Marriage Retreat next week to help enforce marriages, reinforce them. Our education in our Sunday services where we talk about families and the value of family, the blessing movement, and reminding ourselves of the vows we made when we received the blessing. These things are there to reinforce this second blessing. And finally, to give, to impact the world. God created wonderful children, but we all look and act very differently. We all have our own gifts. Some people are musically inclined, right? And then there's me. There's all these different types of people in this world. Some people know how to use a computer, or some people know how to, serve others really well. Everybody has their own gifts, and God created us that way so that we can take care of this whole planet. We can take care of our communities, our neighborhoods, the resources we're given, invest in our workplace. And so we want to equip people to find their purpose, to find how they can uniquely serve in this world, and then empower them to do so. Whether that be in our local community here or out in the bigger world, really both areas are important. And so we want to encourage that. And in our Sunday school, they have something similar. Our Sunday schools around the country, their goal is a heart for God, a heart for others, and a heart for creation. This is the core of everything they teach. How children can have that relationship with God, how they can give it to others, and how they can take care of the world around us. Right? So this is kind of our living model. How do we actually perfect ourselves? How do we actually mature? It's through these three steps. Really owning up to our responsibility. So here we've been doing a lot of things in our community. Me and Lena are a year and 7 or 8 months here. But this community's been doing a lot. It's been very active. Has a lot of great foundation. Actually, I was just reading other people, not people that are living here now, but were reminiscent about Top Garden. And I can't remember who they were, but they live in like New York, and one lives in Alaska or something, and they were talking about it, and I thought, wow, you know, what a great foundation. But we're moving forward too, and we're building new accomplishments. And so this past year's accomplishments, one is we've created this new church home, right? So much effort went into this, and I really appreciate everybody's love and support as we took these steps, and we didn't understand always, but it's come into this beautiful place that we can call our home, right? That we can be proud to bring people to. We've been working on branding for our community so that we have a clear image, that people can see who we are. And with this, we've got our logos, but we're also creating information about our foundations as a church. You know, who we come from, that we come from two parents, and that we have this international movement. So there's a rack card we're working on right now to explain where we come from, and then to explain what we're offering here locally, a separate card. So we want to have good information for people to really understand the heart of who we are and what drives us, what motivates us, what we're rooted in, and be able to invite people to be a part of that. And a lot of people are waiting for a community like this. We don't know it, but they are. We've developed this play place. Actually, now we're running, me and Linda are here every Tuesday and Friday, meeting a lot of families and serving a lot of people. And people are so grateful that a place like this exists. And so I really appreciate that we made that extra effort to create a nice space. It's serving our community. It's serving the broader community. We do have some of our own families coming, but we've got a lot of other, 10 families every Tuesday, every Friday, different people coming in that are able to experience this. And it's been really a great blessing. And they're learning a little bit about our church, and they're seeing, more importantly, our values in practice as we serve the families. And our internal experience we've been developing, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have this music practice every Thursday night, and our musicians come out here, and they say they're only going to practice for 1 hour, and then I'm here with the kids, and they're here 2-3 hours. They're really investing a lot, and I'm sure you can hear it. They're really striving to make an environment where you can feel God's love, where this music can encourage you, inspire you, and they've been doing an incredible effort. Just really the whole atmosphere of our service, we've been trying to create something that shows who God is to us in our everyday life. Other things, we have our weekly band practice. We've developed our Sunday children's ministry. Now we have a lot of volunteers. Before, it all fell on Jane and whoever was willing to help her. But now we have a lot of people that are supporting that, and I'm sure finding a lot of value. That's really serving our community. It helps us a lot. I can be up here without a kid jumping on me because they're happy over there with great service. We've developed our coffee service, so now sometimes we can have coffee before service even, which is good because then your eyes stay open while I'm speaking. And then host teams and cleaning, we're still developing that, and we're going to share about that more today. But keeping our environment clean, this is our church in our community, and I really appreciate everybody that's been making effort. Greeters, we have that sometimes, it's still working on it. Our AV team though, hey, they're incredible. So they've been working hard and uploading our sermons, so even if you can't make it on a Sunday, you can watch it. So there's been a lot of work going in behind the scenes, and I just wanted to acknowledge all that effort from so many people. And there's been our pastoral care. We see very clearly what happens here on Sunday, but we strive to be a community that's there for each other, even outside. We're kind of on call all the time for people that are sick in the hospital, for people having new babies. So I wanted to announce Renat had her baby on Friday, Anid. She's a beautiful little girl that's right up there. And if Joe hasn't already told you, which he probably has, she's a grandpa. So they have Clark. He was just born Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So So some incredible things. We're so happy for you guys. And so when people have babies, we try and get out there and pray for them. And so we come out there, we support them. And that's been a really big blessing for us, and I hope a support for those families. We've done 3 blessings in the last year. Besides, if anybody's blessing on the streets, I don't know, we got to get our numbers. But 3 blessings in our space here. We've had 4 marriages. We've done, and some of those, the people were blessed already, but like Brian was already blessed, and then we had a wedding at his house. So we've been a part of people's marriages, and that's been a great blessing, and I hope that helps those families. We're always happy to help out there. Unfortunately, we did do 3 Stonewalls, but also, fortunately, it was a blessing. You all came out and really supported these families so much. Now, I know the Wilson family, there was so much love and effort put into that. For Doris, there's so much effort and love, and people came out to support. We also, Juliet, she also had a Stonewall. She was born, she had her life here, and we're so grateful. It was a beautiful actual ceremony to celebrate her life and to celebrate her transition, and that we could be there to pray and support her as she's so young, and she still needs your prayers. You know, if you ever think of their family, you know, I'm sure they appreciate your prayers for them. So, you know, these different things are going on all the time, and we as a church community come together to help people in their great joyous events, like having a baby or getting married and getting blessed, and also in their challenging experiences. So our church is really a great source of comfort for many families, and so I appreciate everyone's efforts, and also counseling and support. Things come up in families' lives, challenges that they're dealing with, and to be here, you know, me and Lena are always here, and there's other people here as well that can help when you need someone to just listen to. So these are some of the things we've been doing in the past year. So just to finish up, we do have goals for this new year that we're striving for, and I know that nationally we're being all asked to work on our tribal messiahship, but I felt, you know, if our community at least can work together to bring in some new people right here, not just to bless them, but to educate them, to welcome them, not just pray for them, but welcome them into our community, to help them become our family. We really need to see that really as something that we can do and we should do, that many people are looking for a community such as ours, but more importantly, God is looking for them to be connected. Right? And this Sunday worship service, it may seem like a gathering for us, but really it's a place where God's Spirit dwells. And when people come here, they can feel that and they can experience it. So we want to, as a community, make this effort. And so we're ramping up. We have to get a few more things in place, really, to welcome people in, like those rack cards I was talking about. Just that we have a formula course, a place where people can plug in. I know in the past many times people come to a Divine Principle lecture, but they don't know how they become a member. So we want to make that clear and easy. But we really want to make a campaign to share the blessing with more people, but also to help them grow in that relationship. The 4 vows are, you know, their relationship with God, their relationship with others, being faithful to one another, to raise their children, to follow in their footsteps, and also to make an impact on the world, to live for the sake of others. And these are challenging to do without support, right? We are lucky because we have so much support from our brothers and sisters. So we want to really offer that up. I would love for us to make a clear effort towards Foundation Day. So 43 people that can start calling this their home. We have a budget gap, and I'm sure some of you are aware of that if you look at the reports. This was something we knew. We were looking at this with the former council. This is an investment. We knew it was a stretch, and we knew that there was going to be a gap. But now we're going to share some ideas of how we can close that gap. We'd like to close it because, you know, we want to be a blessing to more and more people. We'd love to see our resources blessing more and more people. We do have some buffer, but we didn't want to rely on it, and there's only so long that lasts. But we want to take that next step, and so we want to increase our income, and also we're working to sell Irvington property. So that one is in the works. We have a contract finally that's clarified, but we need to send it to HSA lawyers to have it reviewed. So I know it's been taking a while, but it's been negotiations and everything. But now I think the contract looks good. So we want to make sure it's in the best interest of everybody. So finally, ministry teams. We want to develop our ministry teams. So expanding who can educate more people, who can share their blessing with more people. We want to equip more people how to help with our blessings and our marriages, how to help with our elder care, as Songwalls and everything. There's different areas of care that we really need to continue to develop. So this is something we want to establish more clearly in the coming year. And then finalizing our onboarding for new membership. And this was the big thing. We knew it, or our parents knew this, right? Some of you parents are. Anyways, as a formula course, right? There was this way of, you receive the education and you do certain things to really inherit the principle into your own life. And we're not asking people to go out fundraising for 3.5 years anymore, although that would close our gap very quickly. We're not asking people to do 3.5 years of witnessing either. We want to make that a part of people's lifestyle instead. So we've shared that vision membership class before, but there's also, it's not just enough to hit people one time with this is who we are, but there's a process of growth. And so we want to be developing, and I'm working on it, and I'll share more as it's developed. A Heart for God 101, how do we build a relationship with God? So this would be a class or maybe a small group that would help people understand about daily prayer habits and study habits and just personal relationship with God things. A heart for others, how they can be a part of our community and help one another. 301 is about the blessing, how to have a heart for love. So we want to prepare people, whether they're already married or not, how they should have a blessed life. And then 401, how to inherit God's love, become a parent, not only in their own families, but for others. And so this is kind of a formula course of sorts that people can understand our faith and how to put it into practical practice in their life. And then also some exploring God's principles, foundation, education, principle education. So anyways, it's been a long course, but these are some of the things that we have been working on, and we want to make this all in place very soon. We're working on a timeline. I know Miss Diana asked me about that stuff. Anyways, today is really about owning the vision. So this was our overall vision. I wanted just to re-emphasize what we're doing here. We are members of the Family Federation that is trying to expand God's love and God's ideal for family. We're trying to inherit God's love, not only within our own marriages, our own families, but for other people as well, and to make that applied in our daily life. And so I want to invite all of you to be owners of this vision, and we're going to talk about that in our community portion today, about how we can own this vision, that this is our church. We are the church. It's not a building. It's not a pastor. It's a community. It's brothers and sisters that are trying to build God's kingdom and make it a reality. So let us do that one once and for all. Let's do it together. I have high hopes for this community. I'm really inspired by our council. We've got a lot of great foundation, and now moving forward, just looking at new things. It's incredible, and I hope you're excited as you hear it. So let's join it in prayer. Our beloved Heavenly Parent, we are grateful for this day. We're grateful for your love and for what you've been teaching to us. God, I'm grateful for a reminder about what you have called each one of us to, why we joined this church. God, we joined believing that we could change this world for better. We could bring people back to you. God, and I pray that this community can really be an example to the world, an example to our nation about how we can build these true relationships, how we can foster love in our families and expand that to the world and the community. So God, I pray that you can be with us, that we can understand your heart, understand your vision. God, that we can inherit your heart and live out a life that really exemplifies your love, that we can treat one another with utmost respect, that we can desire to care for one another even as if they are our own. We can love brothers and sisters as if they're our own, love other children as if they're our own, love grandparents as if they're our own, God, that we can have your heart towards this world and really start to understand this idea of one family under God. God, we offer this Sunday to you. I want to pray and offer all of this to you, and I offer this in all of our names in your holy name. Amen and amen.